Welcome to the Scottish Summit. My name is Peter Ward and it's February the 27th, 2021. This is the recording of my presentation, 5 steps to replace your current audio video conferencing system with MS Teams. So I'll be going through this presentation a little bit quicker because I'm obviously not going to be asking questions because there's no one to ask questions to. These are the fabulous sponsors who have made this event available for us today. So just take a moment to just look at these and look up these companies on the internet, and the fact that they're sponsoring an event today does mean that they're players in the SharePoint Office 365 ecosystem. A little bit about myself. I'm a newly minted MVP. I'm the founder and CTO of Soho Dragon, which is a New York based Microsoft partner consulting firm. We've got about 80 people in the organization, offices in India, Eastern Europe and New York. My main skill is SharePoint, Office 365, co-author of 4 SharePoint books. I also write for a column for Forbes magazine, and I'm the co-organizer of SharePoint Saturday New York, which is one of the biggest SharePoint Saturdays in America. And a meetup every month called Teams Tuesday, which actually is happening this coming Tuesday on the 16th. Okay, I'm based in New York. I'm very old school. I like projects on time and on budget. My hobbies are yoga and cooking vegetarian food. I would ask for introductions, but of course there's no one on this recording, so I would basically skip the slide. So really the whole focus of this presentation is standardizing your unified communication platform to Microsoft Teams. And normally this would be conversational style, but it's not for those reasons. So this is the agenda. 5 steps to replace your current audio video system in Teams. Everything's written down on this blog, and of course because this is a recording, you've got everything here as well. This is the repeat slides that's on my blog. And so the real theme here is going to be standardization of that communications platform. Start of the presentation. Normally it's conversational, but of course it's not, because this is a recording. Why am I speaking to you about the subject? That this is a very, very complicated conversation, and a phone system and video conferencing system is more important than email to any organization. You think it's bad when an email goes down, think of what it's like for a phone system going down. So myself or Soho Dragon, we are not phone integrators with ShoreTel, Avana or Cisco. So we're a pure Microsoft partner shop, and that's the narrative. Just bear that in mind with the narrative. So when we talk about that consolidation, obviously we are presenting this objectively, but we would like to get to the desire, if possible, of that Teams migration or that Teams consolidation of the phone system. Okay, so when we talk about the assessments of organizations, it's like Cisco, WebEx, Zoom Enterprise and Jabber. The value of this presentation is that in the past 12 months I've done 7 assessments with the intention of standardizing companies' communication platforms to Teams, and it doesn't always get to a single platform. So that's unusual for migration, because normally when you do on-prem SharePoint to Office 365 with an intranet, you always get to the destination, or you actually know you've got to the destination very, very quickly if that's possible. Okay, with Teams, you don't always do this, and that's why you do the assessment. Okay, this could be your landscape: Cisco, Zoom Enterprise. Okay, and generally the value of this presentation, you really need to be working with an organization of 150 employees. That's where you've got these mishmash of presentation communication platforms. Why do you want to standardize? Obviously a lack of unified instant messaging, Okay, remember Skype for Business is going away in July of this year. Lack of solutions for collaboration with external companies. Lack of persistent video platform for social distancing. So it doesn't really help is let's all get on a conference bridge and half of the company's on Zoom and the other half is on Teams. And we talk about that consistent for solution. Like what about whiteboarding? Okay, you can do whiteboarding in some of these other platforms, right? But where does that get stored? Does it get stored in that platform? Ideally, you want to standardize all the content and those collaboration as well. And the cost of ownership, because of course training is less, end user support, and people are working at home. They're not using their physical phones, so of course you might be paying for those lines as well. And you might be forwarding that, and of course they need to be maintained. Basic understanding: Jabber and Skype can't be integrated due to lack of support with Microsoft. Cisco and Zoom's does integrate to Teams. There are third-party tools out there which help with this as well. Licenses. Understand your license agreements with these third parties. Are they national? Are they global? When do they expire? What do they include? Okay. And phone systems are perceived as a commodity item. Video conferencing, collaboration systems are not. Like chatting, speaking, storage are always going to be something where that user functionality really has to be aware of that, and people need to know what they're actually getting and how to actually use this. Generally, a phone system, people can pick up and use a phone and a voicemail. That, you know, with video conferencing, that's actually not the case at all. There's functionality issues to take care of. So this is actually a Teams, and you can add Cisco and Jabber and WebEx. So you can actually integrate these other tools into Teams. So maybe that's the first step. So at least people have got the Teams, and then they're kind of like, then they're actually then going to go into this, into their third-party conferencing meeting. This is Zoom integration. So you notice the Zoom here at the bottom, and you can start the meeting. So of course you have to log in, so you might want to have some sort of seamless login there. And this is how Zoom, and you've got your Zoom meetings. So people, so I think, well, they're part way into that journey into Teams. So let's look at those 5 steps. So we've got to get the inventory. And then once you've got the inventory, you do the requirements, cost benefits, scorecard it, and then make a decision. This is not rocket science, is it? As you can see, any migration will go through this methodology. So let's look at that inventory. Okay, it's just not just the users. So this is different to a SharePoint migration here, and you're going to see this. You've got your users, the equipment, PCs, phones, are people using Linux or Apple, but also the equipment in the conference rooms as well. And so a conference room, is that a user? Okay, or do we dial into that bridge number? Okay, contracts with the existing tools, going to get the prices and what it's comparing, so it's like for like. User personas, are those people internal? Are they on the road? Salespeople, brokers in a financial firm, the traders shouldn't be necessarily talking to the research assistants. So it's like information boundaries. Those are the policies. So when we talk about the policies, we also want to get compliance involved and security. Also, you want to state what is out of scope as well. So when this gets presented to the stakeholders, they don't immediately shoot down the assessment, saying you've missed out X, Y, and Z. You want to state out what's out of scope on this. As you can see, a lot of our assessments have been with financial organisations. So you've done the inventory. You want to get the requirements. Okay, get your information boundaries on that. Okay, so therefore, with persistent chat rooms, these are chat rooms that are always on. Okay, so how are they giving how is that information being archived or even monitored as well, and who actually has security on this. So are they private? And the same with the video and audio conferencing as well. Record and retention on this. So therefore, when I'm doing a meeting with my stakeholder, because I'm doing a meeting with my team or developers, okay, it might get recorded. All right, how long do I need to keep the recording for? So there's our third-party archive tools out there. Generally in the financial world, Global Relay is the market leader on this. So it's one thing, Global Relay recording emails or attachments, spreadsheets, your bit of marketing PowerPoint, which is 50 meg. But what about an hour and a half recording? Can that actually cope? And actually, is that information receivable? Also, let's look at the requirements in terms of the callback number. GoToMeeting has a great feature, which basically I dial into the bridge on my. I just click on my PC, and it says dial, and then dials my cell phone back. People will love that. Toll-free numbers, international dialing, okay, and the SIP-based dialing as well for rooms. So the rooms, are they users? They're not generally users, but you want to make sure assign those numbers as well. And also, if we are going to be moving over to a new system, do the numbers change? Do you want the numbers changing? Phone control with that click back as well. Often when I'm dialing people out and somebody's actually on the phone, I can have, there's a setting here where on some phone systems that basically the moment that phone is off, I can that number gets dialed again. Document sharing internal, externally. So therefore, if I'm doing a Teams meeting with someone outside my organization, what could be shared? Is it the documents? Is it the chat on that? And then also, can they take that document out of the Teams meeting? Integration and persistent whiteboard capabilities. Okay, Teams does actually have this. Note taking with OneNote as well. Mobile and accessibility as well. This is on the phone. Adequate security controls, SSO, automatic Active Directory syncing, meeting passwords requirements. So if, for example, Zoom is not integrated with your AD, okay, your IDs, okay, do those passwords are they meeting your standards in your organization? And then you've got encryption and data protection and the content management. So you've got this information on the requirements, and then that seamless user interface. I open up Teams, I start the meeting. I don't want to enter my IDs and passwords. I want as seamless as possible. Global integration, federated AD, okay, and that unified platform. Right, so we're getting at requirements. Let's look at some test cases. Okay, so basically, with these test cases, I built this in a spreadsheet. This is my Teams calling. You need to get all of this together. Okay, and this is no small order. Okay, Teams, WebEx. Notice I'm identifying the success, the failure, the meeting rooms, the call recordings. These are all of the things which, like all of these things, the devil is in the details. And so you've got this information of your test cases. Okay, ideally you already want to have as many success as possible, but if the failures, you need to say, look, are these issues or not? Hidden pitfalls, compliance. The compliance in a financial organization will always torpedo a technology project if they're not involved and they're not comfortable with the end result, particularly with a communication platform which is communicating outside the organization. Third-party integration tools, I mentioned about Global Relay, so you need to make sure that your integration tools has got the capacity to deal with videos and this extra content or information. Know your regulation, 17A4. This is why it's good to get the compliance people and security people involved sooner rather than later. The products are constantly changing, so know what has changed. Okay, permissions of the applications, authentication, and understand the licenses and actually how they work, and so you're comparing like to like. So you've got your requirements. Okay, you present the cost benefits, with your findings to the management, and then you want to basically scorecard this. So the way we've done the scorecard, this is not rocket science, but you really want to have everything in this, and this is a discussion with the management, the teams scoring, the WebEx teams and the Java as well. So this is how it's really done with the overall platform, the instant messaging, everything, the weight criteria. So you've got a full good picture on this. Okay, and then obviously weighing up the disadvantages and the advantages. So with the teams, you've got the combined chat. That's obviously the advantage, but it's also saying lack of robust conference room solutions of the Cisco products, such as SIP-based dialing. Let's just look at some of the other things. Some of the pros of data protection, which is piggybacking on Office 365. Okay, well with Cisco, there's a bit of lack of this. So you can really get into the details and see the pros and the cons. Lessons learned. Okay, know the policies of what is working and not working, or switched on or switched off within the organization, because every organization is quite unique, and they're very particular in certain things. Archiving retention policies. Know these need to be known up front, actually. Information protection policies. Okay, the barriers and the boundaries, I mentioned this. The firewalls and breakout. This is where infrastructure is involved. And people are very, very particular. So if you think SharePoint branding, people who are very particular with the logos being here rather than down at the bottom of the screen. People in Teams, they want to move the logos around. They want the bar on the left, up at the top. Things which can be done, but it's just a bit like, why are we doing this? Okay, and people say, I love this Teams. I want the UI to look exactly like the Zoom Enterprise. Wait a minute here. That's not gonna happen. The hold music. People might want to change the hold music. This is the kind of things which I wouldn't say it would stop a project, but people are very particular. Button icons, and accept that the solution may not be pure Teams. You're going to have to be very open. So you might have 4 or 5 phone system platforms. You may be able to get it down to say 3, but you really started that journey. Ease of use as well. People want that seamless click through. And remember, Linux and Windows clients have very different functionality. And really, really, really test. You've got the labs, beyond the labs as well. And then you make a decision to the management. And it's like yay or nay. And this is more of a conversation, and they will ask a lot of questions. And really, with that scorecard, you're distilling the information from the assessment to the stakeholders. The decision, these are some links which will really kind of like get you off in the right direction of understanding the plans, the video, the voice, which calling plan is right for you, and set up a call feature for yours as well, for users. What's recently new? Remember the together view, that's got additional scenes. Okay, there's a UX landing, so you can now have grey or light background mode, fluent. Remember the pop-ups now are in the apps. Okay, you can add a shared calendar to Teams. There's breakout rooms. Okay, there's the 5 minutes left on some of these conference calls. So when you're on these conference calls and somebody just won't shut up, there's no reason why he won't go over, because he's now been prompted with the 5 minutes. I personally think that could be a little bit more intrusive, perhaps flashing on the 3 minutes or the 2 minutes, and the font getting bigger and bigger. Okay, on that, you can now upload presentations into Teams. There's approvals. The tab place has now been improved, and the external sharing as well. With that external sharing, that's actually quite a good new feature, where I've often had a bit of a complaint where I'm doing a presentation, or I'm doing a meeting with somebody, and it's one-on-one, and I've recorded it. I need to share it with somebody else. And I know the recording goes into Stream, but I need to then share it with somebody else on that, or then share it with someone externally. So now it gets saved into downloaded into the recordings, into OneDrive, and I can share it from there. That's a really nice little touch from Microsoft, I have to say. This is, I could say this is the most important slide of this presentation. This is the useful links of the Teams Tuesday, all about Teams, and this is a monthly meetup that I host. These are the summary takeaways. The benefits and the analysis. What's new in the past 12 months? Hidden pitfalls. Device comparison. I didn't really do that actually. Lessons learned on the Teams process deployments. With the device comparison, you've got to look at, remember the client is different on a Linux and a PC, and with Apple as well. Just bear that in mind. Okay, and also with the devices as well. If you're going on a mobile device or a tablet, it might be going through AirWatch or Intune as well. So just bear that in mind. That all needs to be tested. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you attended my presentation. Do reach out to me if you've got any questions, and on LinkedIn, I'm more than happy to answer questions or point you in the right direction. So enjoy the day and enjoy the other presentations.